right. Okay.
I'm going to like to call this May 15th, 2017 Commission Work Session to order. Ms. Clerk, please call the roll.
Dominic, Lyndon Johnson, Jackson, Lynn, Bowman, Cawthorn, Gage Watts, Middleton, Atkins, Chavez, Smith, Lewis Johnson.
Here.
We have a quorum, sir.
Thank you. We will have an invocation by Commissioner Gerald Bowman and a pledge of allegiance by Commissioner Mario Chavez.
Everyone, please bow your head. Oh, gracious Father, thank you once again for allowing us to be here. Father God, I ask for forgiveness of sins. God, thank you right now for blessing our men and women who are serving in the military, God. Lord, bless everyone, even in law enforcement, every day, Lord. And bless all the citizens right now, Lord, no matter what geographic and demographic they come from. Help us all to be a better city and parish. And help us, Lord, today make the right decisions that we need to do to be productive and progressive in your sight. It's in these and other blessings we entrust and ask and declare in your Son, Jesus' name. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. All present, you'll face our glorious flag and repeat after me. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right.
Right. Mr. Clerk, do we have any agenda additions?
I do not have any, sir.
Okay. Citizens' comments. Citizens' wish to address the commission must fill out a comment card and forward that card to the commission president or the clerk of the commission. Citizens' comments are limited to 3 minutes. I have Mrs. Pinky Claytor. I apologize if I'm pronouncing that wrong. If you could please step forward, give your name and address for the record.
Yes, how y'all doing? That's great. I'm Pinky Clinton, the director of Grace Community Outreach Ministries, known as the Grace House. I come to ask.
Address?
80.
Please don't grab the mic, please.
Okay.
You
hear me now?
Can't do anything. Don't breathe.
Okay. So I won't breathe. Okay, 8222 Mansfield Road, Shreveport, Louisiana, 71108.
You may proceed. You go ahead, man.
Okay, I can talk.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I would just like to bring the attention to the Grace Community Outreach. We're known over the city as the Grace House. What we do there, we provide services for the citizens of Shreveport Bossier that has no identification. We take the clients that are out of the norm, that primarily could not live in, say, other facilities we have due to mental illness. Some have substance abuse or dual diagnosed. So it takes time to get identification. And so therefore these people, and what they're needing now is an immediate fix. They're needing, when they make a phone call and want help, then if they don't have ID due to human trafficking, domestic violence, fleeing from their home, then they have nowhere to stay. So even if they have children, so they cause the children to suffer because they have nowhere to stay that night. I have to stay with an abusive husband. Now, when I'm coming to the honorable, hey, Miss Stoneman, I'm coming to you, the electees of the city of Shreveport, and I'm asking for some additional money that I will be able to continue to house these people. I brought with some of them, you see some on crutches. I have, these people can't make it in the normal facility here in Shreveport, okay, because the rescue mission, Salvation Army. I have one lady have kidney problem. She couldn't make it in a normal facility shelter here in Shreveport because she had to leave and go to dialysis. She's staying a day with 7 months clean. And then also she joined somebody church. And so that is what we are about. And I want to pray And I didn't want to come before you. And you know, some years ago I came before you. Because I broke these streets of Shreveport, a drug addict, alcoholic, ex-hole, prostitute. Okay, I lived in an abandoned building. And somebody felt sorry for me. And I came before a board of people like you. And they heard my plea. And since then, we have served. And we'll continue to serve with your help. And so that's what I'm asking for. So far right now, y'all have allocated me $5,000. I have 2 houses. I have a safe haven house for men, and they are in the same condition. We are a great support for the hospital, LSU. We take the clients from LSU Psych Flow. Get them on their medication. These people, we have 80% of our people not returning to the streets of the city. So I'm asking you to hear my cry. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right on time. Thank you. Mr. Ken Kreff.
Thank you, President Jackson, Dr. Wilson, members of the commission. And ma'am, I hope your friend on dialysis is on Social Security disability. Okay, good. Should be. Okay, thank you. Some of y'all may have read what I did this morning, just some ideas over the weekend, thinking about mothers.
Mr. Kreff, name and address for the
Kenneth Kreff, 157 Archer Avenue, 71105, Shreveport. And before I get started, my wife's still on 27 days, going strong without a smoke. So, in one minor detail, I'm still trying to hear back, Doc, from Human Resources, from Trudy Welch, or anybody who can tell me whether the parish employees on the insurance, the city has a higher premium for smokers than non-smokers. Our group is moving to that in January of 18, and I don't know. But if you have it, I compliment you. If you don't, you might want to look into it, because smokers cost much more, about $2,000 a year more. My main thrust is an idea that came to me after looking statewide at a lot of election returns in different parishes. Taxes going down almost everywhere except voluntary fire districts out in the country. St. Tammany going down on a sales tax, Lafayette on a school board sales tax, both 58-42, 58 against. Not quite the 68 we had, but a negative number. And I looked at it from my own situation, what I sent y'all, and not much difference. It cost me about $1 a month for the additional 0.1% sales tax based on the items we purchased the last year, subject to such tax. Whereas it's about $1.25 on the parks millage. But the city gets $4.5 million from a 0.1%. Let me start over. They get $45 million from a full penny in the city limits. The parish gets about $58 million. School board, commission, any parish body. A tenth of that, $5.8 million. I think Clay Walker is under the gun. He's got to make plans to hire some people starting in January. With what? With his nice personality? He needs some funding. And there's time. There's an August 22nd deadline by which a commission resolution signed would go to the State Bond Commission. Too late for October 14th primary to replace the former Treasury Secretary. Not too late for the November 18th runoff. We'd have to eat the entire cost should somebody win in October and get 50% plus one. But I really think if you do it, a little amount for a little time for 3 years, and make the promise to the voters in the legal language binding, the first renewal would be November 3rd of 20, when President Trump's up for second term should he run, which of course, duh. So make it a little amount. Let that little lady on Clay Street contribute a little bit, 15 cents a month. I don't like the idea that many of our parish residents do not contribute because the state law allows them not to. And a final reminder to anybody 65 and over, go on the assessor's website, freeze your taxes. Property taxes are not the way of the future. More and more, but we've had ours frozen for 5 years. I think you can't freeze sales taxes. You don't get exempt when you go to Walmart. You still got to pay it. So think about that, and I'll be happy to answer any questions by email or whatever. But I just want to do my part. It's something that's out there. I'd rather offer.
Time is expired.
I'd rather offer suggestions than complain.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Crush.
you, Ken.
Thank you so much, Ken Crush. I have no more citizen comment.
This time, we have no visitors, administration report,
There's no report today, sir.
None?
and we move to communiques and committee reports.
Communicate on committee report. I see Commissioner Chavez. Honorable Commissioner Chavez.
Thank you, President. First off, I wanted to welcome my mom from Los Angeles to come here to visit us today. She's short like me.
Oh, okay.
And then second, I wanted to see if I can get Chuck Wilson up here, Director for Animal Services. I've gotten a lot of phone calls about animal services and basically our scope on what we're supposed to do or not do. And I wanted to kind of clear the air because I've had a lot of people call me upset that we're not helping animals and nursing them back to health and airlifting them to Dallas and helping to pay for their vet bills. And I've tried to relay the information as effectively as I can, but I feel it may come from the director a little more receiving and more fact-driven. So, Chuck, if you can kind of just lay out what's the point of Caddo Parish Animal Shelter?
Well, we're here to enforce the parish ordinances and Louisiana state laws as they pertain to animals, and also to operate and maintain a humane, clean, and community-oriented animal shelter. And that means that we provide palliative care to the animals. When we get the injured or sick animals, we provide palliative, which basically means comfort care, and until that animal's time is, until it's adopted, rescued, or out of the shelter at some point in time. Like you said, we can't be airlift. Did you say someone wanted us to airlift an animal to Dallas?
They
Things like that taxpayers' dollars can't pay for. That's why it says that we're supposed to provide comfort care for the animals, which is palliative care, and that's what we do at this point.
Thank you, Chuck. I wanted to bring that to light. I know a lot of people were upset that we weren't footing the bill to airlift an animal to Dallas and a lot more further instances. So I wanted to clearly define scope on what CPAWS it has set out to do. And I looked on the website. I know Woody and I, we talked about this. It's a little vague, so I wanted it to be more exact. If possible, we can work on the website on the wording so that the public knows as far as the law, how it reads, how we're supposed to carry out CPAWS. Because I've even been told by our home rule charter that we're supposed to care for animals to the point to bring them back to health. And I told him I don't think that's correct, guys. And obviously, as legislators, I think that's our job to bring forth what is the actual law and what does it state. So, Chuck, I appreciate you coming up here and doing that. Last thing before you leave, there was one instance this last week, and I don't know if you're aware of this or not. I received this information on Facebook, and I asked them if they called the police and if they filed a report. But somebody said that one of the animal service officers was eating lunch at an establishment during the middle of the day while there's animals in the car. They stated the name. I'm going to shoot you the email because I don't want to call somebody out if it wasn't true. But my inquiry to them was, did you guys call the police? They haven't responded to that. So I wanted to let them know that, as commissioners, we're not the law that you call first off if something's going on. You have to dial 911. You have to call the police. But I wanted to make you aware of it. I didn't know if you were or not. If you were, if you can speak on it. But if you're not, I'll send you an email about the information.
All right, sir.
Thank you, Chuck.
Don't go too far, Chuck.
No, please.
Thank you, President. That's all today.
Don't go too far, Chuck. Appreciate it, Commissioner Chavez. Commissioner Dominic.
Juvenile Justice Committee met just before this meeting and would just simply say, we didn't vote. We were just getting some update on the Raise the Age Act, which will take effect in 2018, if I'm correct. So we'll continue to work hard and do the best job we can to inform the commission body how all that's going to come down and how we're going to hopefully absorb that and continue to, make best and wisest decision for our money as the juvenile justice system takes effect. And the next thing is, Andre, can you come up real quick? Just wanted you to briefly, if you could, give us an update. I think y'all probably all saw on the news when the storm hit last Friday, I believe it was. Friday or Saturday? Friday, I believe. Damage was done to Earl Williamson Park, and in particular, the little building. I don't think it's in use anymore, but if you can just give us office space. Can you give us an update on how we're going to handle that and where we're going to go from here real quick?
Okay, how you all doing today?
Good evening. Good afternoon.
We Public Works have worked diligently with us. They've come out to help clean up a lot of trees, a lot of damage. What you're saying is the office space where our park manager basically works out of, and they pay for the camping fees. What we're doing already, they've already brought in a company that's working on that to get that taken care of. We're still picking up a little debris, but we have the park pretty much in good shape right now. Everything is open and going. But as far as that building, we're going to patch it up to where we can use it, but we had monies to do an office space, so we're going to do another office space here soon.
And everything else should be lined up to go for the hooked on fishing. We're going to get the pier and all that other stuff taken care of.
That had already been it was already under contract to be done. Just so happened it did not touch the pier and made any more damage on it. So that contract should be coming up within the next couple of weeks. The PO has been issued out, and they should start work on it. So we should be good for hooked on fishing as far as using the pier.
Thank you, Andre. Appreciate y'all's jumping on that and take care of that, okay?
Yes, sir.
I've done the color.
Thank you, Commissioner Vice President Dominic, Commissioner Lynn, I apologize.
I want to thank Animal Services for the wonderful job they've been doing spraying for mosquitoes. I know that they've been actively pursuing that, and also solid waste. We had a neighborhood cleanup in the Highland area as well as a neighborhood cleanup in Dixie Garden, and they provided dumpsters for both, and we did a lot of recycling in Dixie Garden, and I believe they swapped out the flatbeds, I want to say 7 times a couple Saturdays ago, and I'm very appreciative. Thank you very much. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Bowe.
Yes, sir. I just had a brief question. I probably can answer it to Mr. Wilson, since we brought up about the animal officers that was eating in the truck during their lunch break. I just had a question. One of the reasons why you're probably doing that, in your break room, I hear that the space is small and that they're eating where animals, the volunteer groups are having animal pet food and all that in the same space. Is that not true?
Not in the break room, that's not true.
Where is it then?
Next door to the break room is where they bring the animals up there, which, we're an animal shelter, so all the animals pass through not through the break room, but in front of the break room. But none of them go into the break room.
They have their own room, though.
What's that?
Volunteer.
Well,
group.
the volunteers use our
Pause for
conference
life.
room,
Yeah.
which is right beside our exit door.
And that's like the break, doesn't it break people to eat there too?
No, they're 2 different rooms.
Yeah, I know it's 2 different rooms,
Yeah.
but was that not a space where, would you consider that be a space where you all have eaten before? But
No, we don't eat in the conference room. We eat in the break room.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the conference room is used for conferences, and
I got you. Well, I got reports that that space is kind of jacked up.
Well, I'll make sure no one's eating in the conference room,
Right.
but it's not meant.
But they say they can't eat food and for other animals and things from Paws for Care and Life is over there, and that's why they can't do a lot of things that they need to do.
You can come out and look, but the
I
break
am
room's one room.
real soon.
Yeah,
I got
okay.
you.
All right.
Thank you.
Yep. All right.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Lynn.
Hey, last couple, 3-4 weeks, been talking with the Mayor Blanchard about basically expanding the services of Blanchard Water Utilities. There's also a commissioner that's up here that's kind of been probing behind the scenes to find out what's been going on as well. So I figured I'd give the whole group an update so that person don't have to probe around and figure out what's going on in District 2. Blanchard basically got an upgrade to their water system a few years back. And we also did this utility water district, unified utility water district, which basically was saying that Blanchard would be the major water source of water in North Caddo Parish and parts of North Shreveport. So, talking with the Mayor Blanchard, basically, we're trying to see where Blanchard can actually fit in. In the Pine Hill Waterworks District, there's new development, and in that new development, most of that new development is going to Blanchard Utilities instead of Pine Hill. So I went to the board, told the board that, eventually, Blanchard would more than likely take the services over because of the way that things were being set up, and then they was annexing different pieces of property as new development occurred. I also talked to the mayor about also looking at Lakeview Waterworks. Lakeview is a standalone water district that buys 100% water from Blanchard. So if it's buying water from Blanchard, then it's charging the residents in the Lakeview area surcharge in order to stay profitable. But at the same time, why would I want to support a middleman when you can cut the middleman out and basically buy 100% water from Blanchard? Well, the board of Blanchard, the board at Lakeview basically said that they didn't want to vote to dissolve their board. And so what I told them is that, well, take it to the people of Lakeview, and that Lakeview community will have a vote and basically decide if they wanted to keep Lakeview Waterworks or if they wanted to go into and utilize Blanchard Water Utilities, since we're buying the water from them in the first place. And there's a couple of board members whose time has expired, so basically I hadn't updated their tenure to renew their term, because I want to make sure that if it's something that the community wants, then basically that's what we need to be doing as far as a board, a water district board. And if they don't, then basically you just replace the board members and you get the vote that you need. So that's what I'm doing with the water in North Caddo Parish, is to making sure that we have, one, good viable water for all the citizens up that way. Two, that we're not paying more for the water than we actually need. So with that, that's what I'm doing. And so if you get complaints from board members, it's basically because it could be the end of their per diem that they get every month. Thank you, sir.
Commissioner Stormy Gates.
Thank you. Mr. Glass isn't here. Is Tim Weaver here?
Should be. He's here. He was
Nobody's
earlier.
here. Dr. Wilson, maybe you
Yes,
can
ma'am.
answer this question. I know that I have several constituents that has been calling about a sewer problem. A sewer problem that they're having from a rental property.
Okay.
And it's located in District 7. Apparently, the homeowner who actually owns the property is aware of the problem. They don't have a problem with the sewage until someone rents the house. So I got a call this morning, and here's where we tied in, because I know that it's a health department issue. And I would like to know, why are they continuing to allow him to rent this property, knowing that it's a sewage leak that's a health hazard for all of the other residents in the area? So I have an address that I'll give to you,
Yes, ma'am.
and if you would get on top of that for me.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. That'll be all.
That's it. All right, next we move to President's Report.
Yes. Just Dr. Wilson, I don't know if this would be you or Chuck, but I had some questions. Is there an animal service advisory board or something like that?
Yes, sir.
So there is one. Is there an employee on that board?
No employees, citizens, right?
For citizens.
Citizens only?
Yes, sir.
So is there a board that an employee could sit on or something like that?
Not in the animal
So it's not
services.
set up for an employee to be on the board?
That's right.
Okay. Who attends those meetings, or what do they meet?
Chuck or Calvin, they usually meet down there in the shelter.
Okay. If y'all could start looping
Pardon?
if y'all could loop the animal service committee in on whenever they meet.
Okay.
I don't know when they.
Yeah, we probably need to give you that, a brief description of how they work, because if there's an animal issue where we want to declare the animal vicious, then the citizen can appeal to that board of citizens, and they rule on that. This is the type of thing that they usually do for us.
Oh, so there's citizen input on some
Yes,
of the
sir.
actions
Yes, sir.
over there already?
That's
Oh,
correct.
okay.
Been established for quite a while.
Okay, well, if y'all can kind of just loop us in on whenever they meet or
Okay.
anything like that. I didn't know that there was an employee in it, and I know we're about halfway through the year, but we'll probably have a chairman at some point soon. Not me.
That's
I got a feeling it's gonna come from the right. I got a feeling it's gonna come from the right. Mark Sweeney. Mark. I believe this would be a zoning question. I-20, right here at, I think they call it Frogtown, I'm not sure. But right here where Fertitas is, there is a truck, look like a ice cream truck or a trailer or something sitting right under the billboard, and it's got something on it. But it's not a billboard. But it's got something on it. I don't know what it is, but it looks like they're promoting something. And I don't know if it's zoned properly, but it's just, and it's got like some rags hanging up there, but it looks fairly tacky for folks passing through Shreveport on their way to wherever. And so if you could get your zoning folks.
Yeah, I'll mention to Alan Clark to look into that and see what if there's a violation occurring at that location.
Okay.
Probably there is.
And if you're leaving downtown headed to West Shreveport or to get on to 49 and go south, you're gonna come off of that, what's the name? I don't know what the street is. It's escaping me right now.
Get off of Common.
Common, yeah.
So you're gonna get on Common,
Right.
and go through the light, get on 20, and I mean, not soon after you get on 20, it's right there to the right.
Okay, Ram.
And I don't know what it is or what they're advertising.
Okay, we'll check it out.
And my other question,
Sure.
could y'all follow up probably Thursday or before?
Sure, I'll say something to Alan today after the meeting.
Okay.
To see what we can find out.
Okay, and where are we on the remainder of the UDC?
Well, basically the ball is in y'all's court, and it went into effect today in the city of Shreveport. And so we're just basically waiting for the parish to regroup and decide kind of some things that they want to, what directions they want to go in and what they want to do from there.
Have y'all set y'all's June agenda yet?
Yes, well, it will be set fairly soon, yes.
Because what I was trying to see is could some of the issues that have been raised through the rule.
The problem with that is that you have to.
Hold on one more. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me finish real quick.
Sure.
Then I get to let you. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
The MPC cannot take up anything until the parish commission has actually done something with the UDC. And from your last event where you actually had a vote, it was not successfully done, nothing was accomplished, and so basically you're back to square one. So it needs to come back to be reintroduced to the parish and then voted on. And if at that point in time, then if there's certain amendments that you were to change, then that would have to go back to the MPC board. So we're probably the soonest you could get it back to the MPC board would be July or August, depending on how quickly y'all move.
Commissioner Johnson and I are planning on meeting Thursday around 2:30 to try to kind of move forward with this issue. Mr. Bernstein will probably need you to meet with us too, if that's okay. You out there? If you can meet with Commissioner Johnson and myself back to back, if there's no committee meetings, Thursday at 2:30. Sound good?
Okay. I just wanted to know where were we in the process and.
Yeah, just apologize.
No.
We just had a lot going on with different meetings and the storms and just everything's just kind of they got put back on the back hold, so we'll get on it Thursday. Okay?
We understand. I just wanted to see where we're at. That's it for me.
Okay,
Mark. So
thank you.
UDC and if y'all could please check that out because I don't know what that is.
Sure, we'll look.
Appreciate it. I'm sorry, Mark. And I guess this will be for you and Chuck. We'll call a meeting because this is a zoning issue as well, and probably pull in Commissioner Conklin. I got a note from Oliver Jenkins. He actually visited the location where I was doing Paint Your Heart Out this weekend. And there's some, I don't know if we've ever gotten around to addressing the horse issue, but there's a street over there on Liberty Street where there's like 4 horses over here and 2 horses over there. And Oliver wants to think about doing a roundup
Okay.
to give them. But
Sounds very Western.
no pun intended. Please. Everything is taken out of context these days. Chuck, I understand that it's animal services responsibility to enforce it. Is that correct?
Yes,
Okay. So if animal services is responsible for enforcing it, I'll ask whomever the next chairman is going to be for the next 6 months to take that on as their responsibility and get that roundup going, because some of the property owners over there I had a chance to talk to.
Well, because the UDC went into effect today, the new rules on horses go into effect today. So we actually provided Oliver with a whole list of all the new regulations this morning.
Okay. We
So
talked
he's
about it, and I was
working on
visiting
it.
the great district of District 6 this week.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Clay Walker, is Clay here? Clay, and I know you touched on it in the committee meeting, but if you could just reiterate it, and I'd like for it to be on the record, and maybe you can elaborate on Thursday. But there was an issue of it has been said that juvenile crime is increasing. Is that, do you have any comment on that? Is there anything that we could do to combat it? Because I was at a meeting where it seems like the responsibility, and I see Judge Matlock.
Judge Matlock is here. We actually were just talking about that.
And they're saying that it's juvenile court and juvenile responsibility to maintain or keep juveniles in control, and that they're responsible for this increase because, police go pick them up, drop them off, and next thing you know, juvenile court let them back out on the street. So how are we responding to that?
Well, the bottom line is that we are using the resources we have, the 24 beds we have, to house kids that we feel like are a public safety risk. If there's an alternative to detention to use to get the kids' attention to change their behavior, we're using that. The bottom line is that up to this year, I've got the records for 2016, and juvenile crime has been coming down for the last 4 or 5 years. The numbers that we're getting, I was just talking to Judge Matlock, possible in the first quarter of this year, January through March, that they are coming back up. And so that's what we're wanting to look into and possibly schedule a meeting with the police and the DA's office to be mindful of that, get information they have, and make sure we're addressing it.
That was going to be my next question, was do y'all meet with the police department and all these law enforcement entities that are saying, well, y'all not doing y'all?
We had a meeting with the entirety of juvenile services at SPD earlier it was last week. Last week. We meet regularly with them. We meet regularly with the Sheriff's Department. And so, yes, we...
So was this frustration brought up then?
It is often brought up, frankly. It is frustrating for all of us involved that we have too few beds. If you talk to any police department from Vivian to Shreveport, anywhere, when you bring a kid in, when you've done the police work to bring a kid into detention, and they're getting released 2-3 days later, that can be frustrating. What I can tell you is that it works. The kids that we're holding that are more serious public safety risks, we're holding because they are, and the public is safe. The kids that we're releasing, on a case-by-case basis, we're determining that kid could use another chance and could be safer. They've got GPS monitors or ankle monitors. They've got intensive supervision, so they're seen every day by a probation officer. Bottom line is we track every kid we release, and we're making certain if they commit new crimes, if they picked up new charges, we count that, and we look at it regularly, and those numbers are not going up. So we will get with the police and with the DA's office and see what information they have on crimes that are going on. Frankly, the police may have a better kind of real-time connection on the street to what they're sensing, so we do need to know about that. Year after year, when we track it, juvenile crime for 2016 was down again from 15. So
I just want to make sure, and I may actually repeat this again on Thursday when folks are out there watching, tuned in on TV, cable TV, because the message is out that juvenile crime is out of hand, and that, I guess, that falls to juvenile services, juvenile court, juvenile detention.
It absolutely does. It absolutely does, and we are. I wouldn't say
happy to do that, but that is our role, and so we'll do it well. But meeting with the police, meeting with sheriff, meeting with any law enforcement, it's never a problem, and I'd say that's one of the upsides of this community. Right. Approachable, easy to work with. We all sit at the table, and everybody gets to work together, so that'll work out fine.
Well, I appreciate y'all's work and everybody else's work, the judges, the probation officers, your staff. Appreciate everything. We just want to make sure that we're doing our part. So appreciate it. As they said, it's not on the record. It didn't happen. So
okay.
I just want to get it on the record.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Attorney Frazier, my last one is could at some point when you get some of the other issues off your desk, could you provide the commission with a I guess an opinion just because we're elected officials, I'm trying to find out, do we lose our freedom of association and our freedom of speech as an elected official? Because I want to know if I'm breaking any constitutional laws when I speak to people, or if I go somewhere that's lawful, obviously. But I want to make sure that we're in our elected capacities are square and in the box on that. So if you could and I guess I should at least phrase the question is, as an elected official, do we lose or are we limited to our freedom of speech and our freedom of association? So if I go out of town and decide to go to a luncheon, am I prohibited from doing that as an elected official? Appreciate you. That's it for me.
We have no old business. We move to new business. Zoning case P1017 in regards to ordinance number 5695 of 2017. Property located on the north side of Elby Road, 500 feet west of Golf Ridge Drive, Caddo, Parish, Louisiana. Applicant Brad Bear. Zoning from RA Residential Agriculture District to B1 Buffer District Business District with approval to permit medical and allied services.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Chavez, second by Commissioner Lynn. Seeing no questions, please vote. Everybody? That passes unanimously. 12-0. Next.
Authorize introduction of ordinance number 5696 to set the general purpose millages and special purpose millages, and to instruct the tax assessor to include said millages on tax roll of the Parish of Caddo for the year 2017.
So moved.
Second. Moved by Commissioner Dominic, second by Commissioner Cawthorn. Seeing no questions.
What? Yeah, I just. Can I make the motion?
Gonna get in. Well, one moment. Hold on. Well, it is yours. Yeah, you made the motion, so you want to speak on the motion.
Eric, can you please explain this to me? I mean, to us, some of the new commissioners, that this is done each and every year. This is not an increase in taxes or anything. Can you please explain this to us?
Yes, sir. Although your villages are authorized each year, you have to actually adopt the millages. These are the same millage rates that you adopted for 2016. This is not an increase. It's just to be able to send out the tax notices in November. You have to adopt your millages each year. And the first one is your general fund millage, and the rest are your special millages, such as your public works and animal and juvenile.
That's all I have.
Who made the second? You made the second. Yeah. You want to speak? No. Commissioner Atkins.
Commissioner Dominic's question addressed it, and thank you, Ms. Bryant.
Commissioner Linda.
And I also want to mention too that basically sets the maximum amount of millage. We can also lower it too as well.
Now, some of these have already been, because this is after 2016's rollback.
Okay.
Commissioner Lynn.
I will give Erica kudos on this as well, that in 2016 we lowered it 0.04% from 2015, and in regards to detention facility, we lowered it 0.01, and in regard to the biomed, we actually lowered theirs from up to lowered at 0.03, and so these are the same as what they were in 2016, but 2016 the majority of them are less than what they were in 2015. That's all.
Any questions, please vote. That passes 12-0.
Authorize the introduction of ordinance number 5697, setting the parish millages for purpose of paying principal and interest due in 2017 on outstanding parish bonds, and to instruct the assessor to include said millage on the tax roll.
So moved.
Second. Moved by the vice chair, second by the chair. Seeing no questions or comments, please vote. Is everybody aware of what they're voting on, right? I don't want nobody to see no news story to pop up.
Can you get it?
Ms. Bryant, will you explain what we're doing here?
Yes, sir. You all have outstanding bond issues, and each year you have to adopt your millages to actually pay the principal and interest on those bonds. This millage in 2015 was 1.75. 2016 we lowered it to 1.5, and we're asking for 1.5 again in 2017.
The door closed a minute ago. You said they lowered it?
We did lower it.
It's lowered.
175 to 150.
Just wanted to make sure I heard the word lowered. Okay. Thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Well, go ahead, Commissioner Dominic.
The reason it's lowered was because it's being paid off. It's being paid off.
That's correct.
It says that debt's being paid off, your millage decreases. The debt being paid off, your millage decreases.
That's correct.
Thank you. Please vote. That passes 12-0.
Authorize the introduction of ordinance number 5698 to adopt the values fixed or to be fixed by the Louisiana Tax Commission on all assessments for railways and other public service corporations, and instruct the assessor to extend such assessments and values on the tax roll of 2017.
So moved.
Second. Moved by the vice chair, second by the chair. Ms. Bryant, do you want to explain these next two or three?
Yes, sir.
Or two?
Each year, the Louisiana Tax Commission, they set the rates on these particular items for the rail as well as the timber, but each local body has to adopt those rates that are set by the commission, by the Tax Commission.
Okay. All right, seeing no questions, comments, please vote. That passes 12-0. Next.
Authorize the introduction of ordinance number 5699, an ordinance setting assessments of property classified as timberlands, and instruct the assessor to include said assessment on the tax roll of 2017.
So moved.
Second. Moved by Commissioner Bowman, second by the chair. Questions, please vote.
Mr. Smith.
Mr. Smith.
That gets me.
That passes 12-0.
Authorize the introduction of ordinance number 5700, 2017, declaring certain adjudicated properties to be surplus, and authorize the parish administrator or designee to sell the parish of Caddo's tax interest in certain surplus adjudicated properties.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by the chair, second by the vice chair. Seeing no questions, please vote. That passes 12-0.
Authorize resolution number 45 of 2017, providing for the canvassing the returns and declaring the results of the special election held in Caddo Parish, Louisiana on Saturday, April 29th, to authorize the renewal of special taxes therein, sales tax district number 1 of Caddo Parish, Louisiana, to authorize the rededication of sales tax. That's just the way it reads, so.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Atkins, second by Commissioner Dominic. I'd like to make a substitute motion to in glovo and advance resolutions number 46 Resolution number 45, resolution number 46, and resolution number 47.
Second.
Moved by the chair, second by Commissioner Atkins. Did anybody have any questions on 45, 46, or 47 that they needed some explanation? All right, please vote on the in blow vote to advance. That passes 12-0.
Authorize resolution number 48, opposition to the Caddo Industrial Development Board securing the services of property manager for the GM plant.
Move to Thursday.
That fails for lack of a second. Next.
Authorize resolution number 49, proclaiming the support in May as Mental Health Month.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by the chair, second by Commissioner Gates Watts. Please vote. That passes 11-0 with 1 out.
Authorize resolution number 50, support and join the President of the United States declaring May 22nd as National Maritime Day.
So move for introduction. Second. Moved by the chair, second by Commissioner Middleton. I see Commissioner Dominic on the board.
Yeah, I'd like to make a substitute motion to englobo, let's see, we're on number 50?
Yes, sir.
The resolution number 50 in advance, 51, 52, and also the special resolution regarding for Mary Alice Roundtree, Mr. Guard Wade as a visitor, and also authorize Mrs. Lamisha Furlow as a visitor. And that's it.
All right. Second. Moved by, you said one second. Moved by Vice Chair Dominic, second by Commissioner Lyndon Johnson. Were you on the board for?
Yeah, I was going to actually say.
Okay, all right. Please vote on the global to advance. Just. That passes 12-0.
Authorize discussion regarding resolution 92 of 2016.
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Lynn, second by Commissioner Chavez. Please. I can't see. You have a question? Did you want to speak on your motion?
I would like to speak on it, and I know I've got 7 minutes. Last year, we asked the Industrial Development Board to gather all of their facts that they had in relationship to the payments that they've received from the Shreveport Business Park in relation to the former General Motors plant. And I know that it was voluntary that they would give it to the commission. I haven't seen it. I do know that after reading the SEC filings that Ilio has paid $20 million in stock, locked in at $20 a share, 1 million shares, to Stuart Lichter, and I was wondering where the parish is in receiving their share, the $3 million, from that group. The video that I watched of the meeting, it said that they did want a manager. However, after visiting with Dr. Wilson, that was not what they wanted, so that does sort of make that first one moot if that is actually the case. And so what I'm asking, hopefully with Guard Wade coming later this week, is that we can ask him about this information and if he's been receiving this in. And so I just wanted all my fellow commissioners to recognize that we did pass a resolution asking for them to ask all the information available to them. They're not forced or obligated to ask all of these questions. However, within the lease, they have the power to ask this information. And I just want to make sure that they are exercising all of their authority in getting as much information from Shreveport Business Park as what's available to them. Because the last meeting of theirs that I watched, it didn't appear that they were doing that. And so that's why I put this on here. That's it.
Okay. I guess we're discussing it now, so I'm not sure, but we're gonna go ahead and discuss it now. Commissioner Lyndon Johnson. Oh, I'm sorry, I apologize. Commissioner Chavez was the second on the motion. Go ahead.
Thank you, President. Just in the essence of obviously transparency that we're trying to achieve up here, I think if we pass this resolution already to gather this data, we don't have it yet, so obviously the discussion is a good thing. So I'll yield the floor to you, Mr. President.
We helping Commissioner Domingue.
Sorry, guys, our report is sideways.
You can you can rotate it.
Yeah, right click on
That's what you're telling me?
Right click on
I thought you said don't break it. You can't pay for it.
He's just talking to me.
Like she talking to me?
Can everybody see it now?
Oh, rotate.
There we go.
Da, 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 da.
It's small now.
And you can right click and do marquee zoom. All right, this 7 minutes start over. We apologize, Commissioner Chavez.
Control plus and control minus make it bigger or smaller.
That too.
Yeah.
All
10
right,
points.
we back to you, Commissioner Chavez.
Oh, that was it? Go ahead, President. No, I just said I'd second it because we need to achieve transparency.
Okay.
Go ahead, guys.
Okay. Commissioner Lyndon Johnson.
I was gonna make a motion that we discuss this today and not on our regular session.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll second. I don't know if we need a motion to do that.
Yeah, because you actually just authorized it to move to
Okay, so
to
I'll
Thursday,
second that
so
motion.
substitute motion.
Is that okay? 'Cause we can go ahead and just discuss
I'm
it.
fine with that.
Okay,
Absolutely.
So we discuss it. Is there any objection to discussing this today? There's no objection. That passes by acclamation. So, is that it?
Yeah.
Commissioner Atkins.
Well, I believe that Attorney Frazier has been receiving this information and has been reviewing this information. I spoke, as the chair of the Economic Development Committee, I spoke with Ms. Frazier last week, I believe it was, and asked about the ELIO shares and if we were tracking those, and she assured me that we are. So the parish is taking care of that side of the business. There's always room for double checking, and I don't have a problem with making sure that we're taking care of the business, but I believe it's being taken care of. Thank you.
Okay. Attorney Frazier.
I just wanted to point out that the actual resolution that the commission passed was to request, to urge the Industrial Development Board to request quarterly financial reports from the Shreveport Business Park and to provide them to the Caddo Parish Commission. I think there was a miscommunication between myself and the IDB attorney, and that these reports were actually sent to both of us. We have one for through, I believe, the third quarter of last year and last year. That's what we've gotten so far. And I've got these copies for all of you in the clerk. As far as the information with regard to the stock, the report that you're going to receive does not reflects a different amount than what we think the stock transfer should be, or the percentage rent based on that. So there is an inquiry in process to determine what that exact amount should be and to receive a check for that. But I'm going to say that probably they didn't get forwarded because of miscommunication, and I accept responsibility for that. So my apologies for that, but here they are. Now there's 2 reports, one for each of you, and one for the clerk to put in the record.
That it?
Yes.
All right. Vice President Domingue.
We have, I think 99.9% of my questions were asked by Commissioner Atkins and yourself, Donna. Just one, well, I guess one question. What about the other quarters? Are they all in here or is just the most?
Well, no, this started in November, so you got through the end of September last year, and then you got one through the end of December last year. The first quarter for this year has not been forwarded to us at all.
So these are the other 2 that you were just talking about, and
right.
we're waiting for the other one.
Yes,
okay.
we need one from the first quarter of this year. We haven't gotten it yet.
Okay. I have nothing further. Obviously, we're going to peruse these and look at them, so hopefully that will answer any commissioner's questions if they get a chance. And if they have any questions, I think they need to sit down with you and Dr. Wilson and go over it.
Commissioner Lewis Johnson.
No, all my questions were answered.
Okay, thank you, sir. I forgot to do it during my president's report. I was going to read some talking points that was provided to me to kind of clear up the air, but I'll wait till Thursday to read those talking points to kind of clear up some of this. I may not do it as well. This particular handout, does this tell us how much has been collected from the rent or lease purchase payments? Is that what?
No, what that tells you is that company's Shreveport Business Park should be their quarterly financial reports. I have asked finance, and I've got to get with Erica to make sure that we have all the current information, but she is in the process of preparing a spreadsheet, I think, to show all of the payments that have been collected.
Okay, and my other question is for this group here, is there a agent of record? Could y'all get us the agent of record for Shreveport Business Park? Will y'all be able to contact that down? Agent of record in the state of Louisiana. And then how much, do y'all know how much to date that we've collected from IRG through the Industrial Development Board? Is there a record of that?
Yes, it's my understanding it's 1.3 million. Yes.
I'm sure it's 1.3 million?
Yes, sir.
Okay. It's not funny money, it's real money, right?
Real money. And don't carry it.
I just want to be clear, because it's a lot of, it's just a lot of stuff out there.
Money, that's funny money.
Right.
That's correct. Monopoly money.
Right, not monopoly money,
This
it's
is
real
US,
money.
U.S. Federal Reserve notes.
Backed by the government,
Yes, sir.
faith and confidence.
Yes, sir.
I mean, some of the stuff that you hear out there, you know, some of the stuff that you hear out there, it's amazing. And if we could get a report on that, and I guess what account is going to, and is this information proprietary? This information on the rent payments, is this proprietary?
No.
No.
Oh, so anybody can request it, is what I'm saying.
John wants a copy.
Okay. So this can be out there for public record. Oh, okay.
Anytime they give it to us, it's public information.
Okay. I just, you know,
Public domain.
I guess you gotta come get it sometime. Or I guess we could put it, I don't know if we want to be proactive in putting it out there as well, but, you know, if we want to post this stuff online or whatever, as well as the rent payments, so that folks know we're not getting monopoly. Do they pay in check or do they pay in cash? All right, that's it for me, I'm sorry. Commissioner Lynn, second time.
Anyway, hey, Commissioner, didn't KPBS have that Friday when we went over to see them?
Which one? Which one?
Did they have all the rent payments and everything? Friday when we went to
They've got it all.
KPBS?
Yeah, yes, sir. But, you know, I guess the revisionist and selective memory will do what it wants to do.
Anyway,
we can do is provide the facts.
Thank you for this. And is there a way to get this without putting it on the agenda?
Yes, I have set myself a reminder to the next time that I get it, that I will send it to you.
What is the timing deadline that Shreveport Business Park IRG have to remit this to the Industrial Development Board?
I'm not aware that they have a deadline, but I'll inquire and see. But I would expect that the quarters, that it should be ready. They're going to be somewhat subject to accountants, but it should be ready, I would think, within 30 days of the end of the quarter.
So, and right now we're waiting on the fourth quarter of 2016 and the first quarter of 2017?
No, just the first quarter of 2017.
Okay, thank you. That's all.
Appreciate it. And I wanted to put my comments were not, they were directed at the street committee about how to get this. So that's what, I'm sorry if I insinuated that if it came off that way. Commissioner Atkins for the first time?
I was just going to propose, Ms. Frazier, that
Is this his first or second?
instead of...
Oh, I'm sorry, John. I apologize.
Is it
This is your
Chavez?
second time?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. Commissioner Chavez, I
It's
apologize.
actually my first, but that's all right. Donna answered my question. Thank you for getting us this report. That's all.
Okay, Commissioner Atkins, I apologize.
I was just going to ask Ms. Frazier, instead of waiting for them to send it to us, if we could put in our calendars, particular to a month after each quarter, let's go ahead and pursue it, because otherwise it's liable to get pushed back. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Linda Johnson.
Call for the question.
Second.
The one to be called for? I think we're in discussion. We're in a discussion. Is there any objection to end the discussion on this particular
No.
issue? There's no objection to ending of discussion. Thank you, Commissioner Lynn, for bringing this to our attention. We all up here are for transparency. I haven't met a person up here in my short time being here that does not support transparency, honesty, and good government. So thank you for that. And thank you, administration, for responding to this request and being proactive going forward. All right. That is
Consent agenda?
moved by Commissioner Johnson, second by Commissioner Gage Watts. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you, ma'am.